This morning, Nintendo dropped the final Direct focused on the original Switch, and as I think some people might have anticipated, it is a little bit of mop-up. It's a little bit of just like, here's just a whole lot of stuff that we need to announce, but there were some very pleasant surprises in the mix. A couple franchises came back that I would not have put on my bingo card as showing up at this Direct, along with a couple updates on games you already know about, and a couple nice, very specific surprises depending on what your taste is. Something really interesting about this Direct, though, is that not only did we get a bunch of game news, but we also got a pair of kind of just Nintendo general feature type news that ties a little bit into what they are doing for the Switch 2. Primarily, an update on how they are handling digital games moving forward, and the introduction of a new form of news distribution. To start though, let's talk games. While I think the overall presentation absolutely had some slowdown moments in the middle and the end, I gotta say for me personally, the very opening of this Direct was incredible. We got a set of announcements right away that I feel like were directly targeted at my brain cells, where we had an initial reveal of Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD-2D Remake, which we knew was happening. That game has been technically announced, but this is the first time we actually got to see some gameplay for it. And not only are we getting a glimpse at Dragon Quest 1 and 2, but it does look like, similar to 3, we are getting some new plot elements added in as well, which for Dragon Quest 2, where you had 3 party members, it looks like this trailer is very clearly hinting at a 4th one joining up. Somewhat surprisingly, we did not get a release date for this game. I originally considered it something that was going to be earlier in the year, trying to keep it close to Dragon Quest 3 HD-2D, but now that we are, at the end of March and they're still just saying 2025, this might end up being closer to the holiday season. It could be a summer release, could even be a little sooner with spring, and they're just keeping the release date close to the chest for some reason, but for now, we still don't know when this game is dropping, just sometime this year. After this, we got the reveal of a new Somnium Files game, which was a huge surprise to me. What is interesting about this one is, based on the titling and also the fact that it looks like it's being priced a little lower, this might be a smaller scope kind of spin-off game, because they're not actually calling it the Somnium Files. That's being used as a subtitle at the bottom called From the Somnium Files, with the game being called No Sleep for Kaname Date. If you're unfamiliar with the series, these are fantastic visual novels. Kaname Date is actually the main character of the first game, and he's a supporting character in the second one. So very interesting we're getting what looks like a spin-off title starring him once again. I am absolutely excited to check this one out. This one will be dropping this year on July 25th. And then the third announcement in the kind of opening trio that was just for my brain, Raido Remastered. We kind of knew this one was in the works. There were some light leaks of it before, and Atlus has seemed to be very focused on remastering a lot. And Atlus seems really focused lately on remastering or remaking a lot of the older SMT and Persona library. So this is a remaster of a game that was originally released on the PS2. It is the first of 2 Devil Summoner games released on that console, and we officially know that it is coming to the Switch with a release date of June 19th. So pretty soon this year, just a few months away, considering we have not had an official announcement until just this moment. Now, after this first set of 3 games, there were a whole bunch of other announcements. I kind of want to cherry pick a little bit here, just some of the ones that I think were really stand out or ones that I'm very excited by. And I want to start with the ones that are not first party and just get through a whole lot of other supporting stuff. We got to see more of Shadow Labyrinth, which, if you haven't seen this, it is a Metroidvania, very dark toned game inspired by Pac-Man. We got the announcement of a new Story of Seasons game coming out August 27th, which I almost kind of feel like they had to have some kind of farming sim in this Direct. Like, it's the final original Switch Direct. There was always kind of a joke of how often farming sims would come up for some people that just weren't into it, and we just had to sneak one more in, which, for those that don't know, Story of Seasons is actually Harvest Moon. Like, the series that was called Harvest Moon turned into Story of Seasons, and Harvest Moon that exists now isn't actually really Harvest Moon, it's just people that own the IP name rights. So if you're a fan of that, make sure to check out Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. We got a look at Witchbrook, which is a wizard school themed life simulator. Has a little bit of the Stardew Valley look to it. Definitely something I think some people are going to be excited about, coming out holiday later this year. The announcement of Gradius Origins, which is a collection of classic Gradius games, along with one actual brand new one coming out on August 7th. Square Enix announced not only Dragon Quest 1 and 2, but also a remaster of Saga Frontier 2 that is being released today. That is a shadow drop. And then another kind of surprising thing I did not expect to see, Monument Valley 1 and 2 is coming out as a collection on April 15th for the Switch, with a Monument Valley 3 releasing in the summer. We also got a quick look at a new Everybody's Golf game with Everybody's Golf Hotshots, and then one of the most pleasant surprises for me at the last second, a new Marvel beat-em-up game coming from Dotemu. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not like the biggest Marvel head. I've watched the movies, I enjoyed the ones that were good, but honestly, what I'm more excited about this is the fact that it's just a brand new beat-em-up coming from Dotemu. I think everything they've worked on so far has been fantastic. With games like Streets of Rage 4 and TMNT Shredder's Revenge, there's just been a really good track record going right now of Dotemu working on beat-em-ups, and I'm so excited to have another one that's coming out later this year during the holiday season. And then before I get to first party, one thing that was interesting is actually how many rhythm games we had going on at this showcase. We did finally get a release date for Rift of the Necrodancer coming to Switch. It's been on PC for a little while. It didn't make its way to Switch yet, and it's actually available today. That is another shadow drop that is going on. They also announced some DLC for it, which is adding music tracks from other major indie games, which include Celeste and Pizza Tower. Then, in other rhythm game news, we got the announcement of a Patapon collection of 1 and 2 remastered together coming out on Switch called Patapon 1 and 2 Replay, coming out on July 11th. And then one of the really big surprises of this Direct for, I think, a specific audience of people, something that I think is a bit of a recurring theme with this particular one, the announcement of a brand new Rhythm Heaven called Rhythm Heaven Groove, slated for 2026. Absolutely incredible that we're actually getting a brand new Rhythm Heaven game. I will be totally honest, I did not actually play the older ones. I've heard nothing but incredible things, and I've wanted to check them out. So very excited to see a brand new one coming out, even if it's not going to be this year. Which I think this is a good segue to get into first party news, because we did get a couple different game announcements from Nintendo themselves. Not only that brand new Rhythm Heaven game, but we did get another look at both Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and Pokemon Legends ZA. With Metroid, I think one of the new interesting things they highlighted is the new psychic powers, which is opening up a new form of gameplay for the series. And then what I thought was really funny was how they actually ended this trailer, where it still just says 2025. We have not gotten a release date for this game, but then almost as like a try to make good, right after saying only 2025, we just got a sneak peek at a brand new armor design, which I gotta say, does look incredible. As for Pokemon Legends ZA, we got a little bit more detail about the overall structure of the game. I think the big focus for this particular trailer is that there's a heavy tournament arc style focus in the game, where at nighttime we're able to go out and battle trainers and even sneak attack them, which seems a little rude. Given how much I enjoyed Legends Arceus compared to mainline Pokemon, I'm definitely a lot more curious about ZA. I wish it looked just a little bit more polished than what we've been seeing so far, but the combat changes absolutely have me interested. And then alongside with the surprise reveal of a new Rhythm Heaven, we got another game being revived. This was basically the closer announcement as far as games go. Tomodachi Life. We are getting a brand new Tomodachi Life called Living the Dream, also slated for 2026. Similar to Rhythm Heaven, I think this is a franchise that just a lot of people had kind of written off at this point and didn't think we were getting a new one anytime soon, and we are. Here it is. It's on its way, and it looks absolutely bonkers. Now, aside from the games, like I said, there was also some news in regards to some Nintendo features, the first of which is the idea of the virtual game card. This is a new functionality that Nintendo is going to be rolling out for their digital games, where you effectively have a virtual game card that allows you to more easily share your titles across multiple Switches. It basically allows you to treat digital games like you had a physical card that you're moving between systems. While you can't necessarily share it to a friend, it does seem to enable a simpler method of being able to constantly swap between multiple systems, something that may come up for people that buy Switch 2s and want to hold on to the regular Switch for whatever reason. But the bigger problem I think this is actually a solution to is family situations. And in fact, that's actually a specific event they call out, where with family sharing accounts, you can do things like loan a game to someone else so they're able to play it as well. To be perfectly honest, I'm not entirely sure how much of a benefit this is going to be for most people that just kind of stick with their own system and that's it, but for family situations in particular and kind of group share type stuff, I think this is an interesting thing Nintendo is experimenting with. The other announcement they had, and this was actually the hard closer of the show, is the announcement of a new Nintendo app called Nintendo Today, which is basically a news app focused entirely around Nintendo. And the way they really tied this into upcoming news is that after the full reveal of the Switch 2, which we'll be getting in just a week, that app's going to be the main way they deliver updates in terms of system news and just new things for people to be aware of. So Nintendo's been doing this very interesting app push lately. Obviously, we got the Nintendo Music channel last year. Now we're getting this news focus channel. It's clear that while they haven't been focusing on mobile games quite as much, Nintendo is still very interested in having a presence on smartphones. So very interesting to see how actually useful this news app is going to be, and definitely something I'm going to keep my eye on after the Switch 2 is revealed. You know, to be honest, knowing that we had a Switch 2 Direct, I didn't really have the highest expectations for this one. I figured it was going to be updates on Metroid and Pokemon at best, with a lot of kind of mop-up of other titles. And while there were certainly a lot of, I think, very specific games in terms of people's tastes, there were a lot of great surprises here that I did not expect, and all in all, was a much stronger last hurrah for the current Switch than I thought we were going to get. I still think we're going to be seeing some bigger announcements at the Switch 2 Direct. Obviously, that's going to be the place to do things like talk about launch lineup titles, and I think we're going to see some really nice big surprises from Nintendo as far as first-party IPs. But just the fact that in this one alone, we got the announcement of a new Rhythm Heaven and Tomodachi Life out of the blue, fantastic surprise, along with some other stuff that I think just looks really nice. Not the strongest Nintendo Direct by any means, but certainly not one of the worst ones either. I think it was a fitting farewell to the current system, and I can't wait to see the start of their next chapter with the Switch 2 reveal next week, which I am planning on making a video about as well, and I'm going to be focusing a lot more on coverage for that once we know more about the system officially. I've just gotten so tired of the rumor and speculation cycle. Can't wait to just have it out in the open. If you want to see that coverage, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that in the future. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button to let me know, and until next time, I will see you all later.